Parents, as your year 11 or 12 know the content for standard maths, but when they go into the test, they get stressed and they get anxious and then they just lose all their marks? If so, I'm going to show you the exact process I've used for hundreds of students to fix this exact problem. And for those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Andrew Malcolm. I failed math in year 11, and in year 12, I topped New South Wales in standard math. Ever since then, I've helped hundreds of students score a band 6 with my company, ACM Tuition, and go on to their dream university degree. So with that out of the way, let's get into this. So the problem students face is that year 11 or 12 students, they feel ready for the exam. And when they go into it, they start to panic, they freeze, they get stressed, and then everything just collapses. But look, here's what they think. They think stress took away my marks. They think, stress erased my knowledge. Right? They think stress is the root issue of their problem. Right? But that's not true. Right? This is the truth. And this is an example from my HSC. So the HSC exams were probably one of the most stressful times of my life. Like I had tunnel vision, my eyes were just focused, like I was stressed, my heart was beating, like I'll fall asleep on the floor sometimes just because I was just so tired. I didn't want to do any of the study because it was just stressful. And not to brag, but I still came first in New South Wales. Right? And the point is, stress didn't erase any of my knowledge, and it doesn't for your child as well. Right? Maybe it makes it harder to focus when you're studying, but all the stuff you learn, it doesn't go away like that. It doesn't just erase. That's not how your mind works. So look, stress isn't the enemy. Right? Stress is your body's way of saying that something's wrong. Here's a bunch of energy to fix it. And it's based on past experiences. So, for example, right, your body's going to remember when you underperform. So if your body said last time this went bad, let's say you're aiming for 90% and you got 40%. Of course, you're going to be stressed going into that exam because of those past experiences. So here's the real question to ask. It's not, how do I calm down? How do I reduce test anxiety? The real question is, why don't we feel safe in this situation, right? Why are we feeling concerned, right? And anxiety in this test scenario is a confidence issue, right? It's not a mindset. You don't lose marks because you're stressed. It's just confidence, right? And here's the proof. There's this quote by Alex Hormozi that goes along the lines of, confidence isn't built by shouting affirmations in the mirror. Your confidence is built by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Right? So the same applies for maths, right? If you have no proof, you're always hitting 40%, right? Even the past papers you're doing you don't mark and review them, right? Why would you feel confident going into that test? So like I said, here's what students do wrong. They do past papers, they don't mark them properly, right? And they don't review their mistakes deeply, but they feel prepared because I did a past paper, or maybe I did 10 past papers, right? But the body knows the truth, and this is what I call fake reviewing, right? You look at the answers and just say, oh, yeah, I get it for any question you get wrong, Maybe they memorize the solution instead of understanding how to actually solve it. Maybe after getting it right once, they just don't repeat it, and they get lucky because they luckily got it once, right? But you can't lie to your body. Right? Your body is never disillusioned, right? And it's not convinced. And so if it's not convinced that you're properly prepared, you're guessing answers, you don't even know how to answer the question with the right solution. Your body isn't convinced. And so the stress is going to stay, right? And it leads to this key principle. If you're not 100% convinced you can do it from scratch, your body will not feel confident going into the exam, right? If you don't know how to do the question, your body is going to be concerned when you go into that exam. So you can think about it like this, the lion's den analogy. Imagine you're dropped into a middle of a lion's den. There's lions around, right? They're hungry, they haven't eaten for days. You have no gear, no training, and no experience at all. Right? Are you going to be stressed? Because I know I would be. But let's take that same example, and let's say you had weapons. You had ammunition, you had armor, right? You had all the knowledge of how lions react. You had 15 years of hunting experience, right? Do you think you would still be stressed, right? Because, I think I would be a lot more calm in that situation, right? So look, the situation didn't change. All that changed was the preparation. And this is what we want to apply to exams. Right? So exams feel threatening because the students aren't prepared, right? And the body reacts appropriately. Like I said, you feel stressed. Like I said, your body's concerned and it gives you a bunch of energy to fix it. And that's the stress. So I also want to be clear as well. The goal here isn't zero stress, right? Some stress is important because it motivates you to do better, right? But the goal is to remove the unnecessary stress from a lack of preparation. And so what does this look like? It looks like students marking papers properly, right? Identifying recurring mistakes and noting them down, right? Redoing the questions until they feel confident and they're not just guessing when they get a solution right? It's actually marking questions, right? Doing questions that feel unfamiliar, not just the easy ones so they can feel productive and just cruise through them. So we're really relying on proof over just temporary feelings of this works. And so this creates the result of anxiety drops and you don't need any more affirmation, right? Everything is just in line, everything clicks, right? And so look, that's the fix we need, right? We just need to fix the preparation stage so that that exam anxiety can be fixed and lowered down, right? If you know 100% that you can solve every single question that you've ever done, HSC questions, hard questions, easy questions, and you don't make any mistakes, right? That's when that stress comes down and you feel confident going into the exams. So look, if you want help on this, I've got more video breakdowns of how to prepare and how to study. And if you want, you can also, if you found this useful and you want specific help on anything, or you want me to direct you somewhere, send me a DM on Instagram saying, hey, look, I really need help for my child because they're struggling with this, or maybe you're a student and you're like, hey, I need help. Direct me to this video and I'll do it, right? But send me a message and hope this helps. See ya.